Good evening, dear televiewers, and welcome to the 7 p.m. newscast on DBS television. For the headlines tonight, following the speech of the president, we would be bringing you reactions from young Cameroonians as well as civil administrators all over the nation who are giving us opinions about the speech of the president addressing young populations of the country. Youth in Cameroon's capital Yaoundé are still and gradually plunging into the use and abuse of drugs as well as juvenile delinquency in the country. This situation is leading to a gradual fall in moral values as well as contributing to kill their future. And in the east region of Cameroon, water crises have intensified in this part of the country, especially with the coming of the dry season. This has caused so many difficulties to them, and the inhabitants of this town are calling out for help. Those were our top stories for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, stay with us and get the details when we return shortly. Happy Youth Day to all youth in Cameroon. You are watching the 7 p.m. newscast in the English language on DBS television with me, Cynthia Ngwemo. Youth in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, have reacted to the speech of President Paul Biya addressing young Cameroonians, of course, with mixed feelings. Our correspondent, Ate Bonaventure in Yaoundé, spoke to some of these young Cameroonians, got their opinions, and this is what they had to say.
What I gathered was that the head of state congratulated all the youths for always being so supportive of him and being so patriotic. He also congratulated the youths for participating in the Chan Championship, and as a whole, I gathered from that we should always be so patriotic and love our country, whatever it is, and do whatever possible to support this country so that it should grow and evolve in all possible ways. My point of view is that when the Cameroonians are not well informed, they cannot grab the sufficient opportunities put at their level. So that's for me, it's not well organized.
The message was vague like the previous ones. We no longer want speeches in which we are given theories without statistics. How can we contribute in peace building when there are no jobs? We find ourselves riding commercial motorbikes.
I learned from the head of state that you should make use of opportunities.
Youth in the Adamawa region of the country have expressed satisfaction with the message of the head of state last night to the youth of the nation. In the following report, Mange Venasius tells us that implementing these measures of the message of the head of state is a thing that would lead to development and peace in Cameroon. His report.
In his traditional message to the youth on the eve of the National Youth Day, President Paul Biya gave out what it takes for the young people to bring in their contribution for nation building. In Yaoundé, the regional capital of Adamawa region, a number of young people and personalities of the region with the regional governor came together to listen to the head of state address his young compatriots. At the end of the message, the regional governor, Kildadi Tagiake Bukar, summarized it in the following words.
The head of state have called upon the youth, the Cameroon youth, to be very optimistic and to be hardworking, and because many opportunities are given to that youth, and I think they should, the youth should be aware of the fact that peace, prosperity and nationality are our priorities today.
From this, he used the occasion to advise the young people in his region and Cameroon at large to seize the opportunities given them by the government for their well-being.
Many projects, many programs are set up for the youth, for this the young Cameroonian youth, and I think they should seize the various opportunities given by the what we call the context of decentralization, collectivities, what we call local collectivities are there. They are there to offer many jobs to the youth.
A message which some youths who followed the president indicates that the message has met their aspirations.
The head of state touched the different angles that we as youths wanted to hear, because peace, which he actually dwelt on, is the main thing. That if youths adhere to the laws of the country and staying away from deviant behaviors, I think we'll be able to make a better Cameroon.
These young people are said to have been convinced by the head of state's message on the grounds that if they follow it as it is, then peace will once more reign in Cameroon.
And over in Kribi, in the south region of the country, we also got an immediate reaction from Nuhu Belu, who is the SDO of the Ocean Division. Now let's listen to him as selected for us by our correspondent Semplis Boning in Kribi.
Down the Oba State, who gives a lot of things to Ocean Division. I want to tell that all the opportunities that the head of state gives to the Ocean Division, youths of Ocean Division should benefit from it. They should work hard. They should go school to school. But they should be these youth who are contributing to the development of our nation.
Cameroon celebrates the 55th edition of the National Youth Day at a time when the youth are really plunging into drug abuse and juvenile delinquency. Our Center Regional Correspondent Ate Bonaventure has been carrying out an investigation on this phenomenon, and he says that it has become a do-or-die affair for many young Cameroonians in the town of Yaoundé. Let's have his report.
He sniffs the adhesive gum passionately, as if his life depends on it. After drugging themselves, any position is good for a deep sleep. This is the lifestyle of many young stars in the nation's capital who have decided to derail from the right path. Ibrahim and Urish have spent 4 years each in jail for drug abuse and trafficking.
There are tablets that we call Zapaho, Jazz, and Exol. They can be taken with water as activate the consumers. I used to be a drug addict, but I have stopped. They even gave me names like Flo.
Illicit drug abuse, according to the Cameroon National Anti-Drug Committee, is one of the lead causes of crimes and juvenile delinquency in most urban centers in Cameroon. Drug consumers believe it gives them courage and audacity to carry out mischievous acts.
When you are still delinquent and ignorant about such a behavior, you do things that you end up regretting. I used to hate a group of my school's days. We were organized to go and smoke behind the schools.
Apart from being consumers, some of the boys also play the role of distributors in schools and social gatherings.
Dealers used to send us to go and distribute in schools. I used to sell drugs. I will put in my school bag and I take it to class. I knew I wouldn't get less than 5,000 francs a day because I had customers.
The ex-convicts have initiated a project to train their peers in craft works in order to reconvert them from the deviant lifestyle.
In the east region of Cameroon, the dry season has taken center stage in the town of Betua, particularly with an adequate or an acute shortage of water. Inhabitants of this area now have to go for long distances and far away from their homes just to get a little bit of water, for which they scramble to get most of the time. Our reporter Vanessa Shuyong now paints a picture of the situation in the town of Betua.
Despite the COVID-19 pandemic rocking Cameroon, which needs strict hygienic measures to curb its spread, the people of Betua are caught in a predicament as the town suffers from acute water shortage with taps dry. The population have to trek miles away from home before they can get some drops of the precious liquid, and under hard struggle. They have now resorted to other water sources like rivers and boreholes, which are of poor quality and not portable. These uncountable gallons, for instance, have been lined up by water vendors to help alleviate the thirst of the locals on their way. According to this vendor, he also supplies restaurants, households and cafeterias to make ends meet. Even housewives are crying foul of an intense scarcity of water. This lady says school children wake up at an unusual hour to fetch water, which makes them go to school late and are even at risk of being attacked by armed robbers. Since the launching of the Better Water Project by the government earmarked to end by 2020, the project is far from reaching its objective as work progress has been very slow, still keeping Betua in an acute water shortage. The population is hoping to see it complete in the nearest future, for the little water supply from some goodwill residents and few water boreholes cannot meet the needs of the entire population of Betua.
Cameroon and Nigeria are preparing for the repatriation of some 5,000 Nigerian refugees who have been living in the Minaoa refugee camp in the far north region of Cameroon. The latter, who expressed the desire to return home, would constitute the second batch of refugees to be voluntarily returned to their homeland. To this effect, Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, held a tripartite meeting this Wednesday, February 10, in Maroua with the governor of Borno State in Nigeria, Babagana Zulum, and officials of the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. The tripartite will then decide on the date and the exact number of the over 67 Nigerian refugees to leave the camp. In the following excerpt, Babagana Zulum, who is the governor of Borno State in Nigeria, promises a speedy return of the refugees while thanking host Cameroon for receiving them. He also expresses Nigeria's readiness to welcome back its citizens. Now, let's listen to him.
Very soon, UNHCR, the government of Nigeria as well as the government of Cameroon will ensure speedy repatriation of the internally displaced persons to Banki and Bamata. We are here to see things for ourselves and to assure the good people of the Borno State that are residing here in Minaoka, that inshallah very soon we'll do everything possible to return them in a dignified manner. We are also here to express our sincere appreciation to the authority concerned and to the people who are living in the host communities, our good neighbors, to thank them, to see them and thank them for the wonderful job that they did.
The government of Nigeria and indeed the subnational governments are all very much ready to receive our refugees back home. Nigeria is a nation, it's a member nation of the United Nations, and we are all together working in ensuring the provision of security to.
And in this societal news story, Fally Ipupa, who is a Congolese music artist, has begun a chain of concerts and performances in Cameroon, which is on the occasion of Youth Day celebrations of 11th of February and for Lovers Day on the 14th of February. It is a source of joy for his fans, but the cost of tickets for a part of the concert has been a topic of debate in Cameroon, as the cost ranges from 350,000 to 1 million francs CFA, which a cross-section of Cameroonians judge too costly and even exaggerated. In the following excerpt, Kiki Elame, who is a Cameroonian cultural promoter, says it is no cause for alarm because expensive concerts and social activities are organized everywhere else in the world, even by Cameroonian artists elsewhere. Let's hear him speak.
I just want to let all fellows Cameroonians that Fally Ipupa coming in Cameroon is naturally what it's supposed to be. Fally Ipupa is a superstar, is a mega star living in overseas. So when they're giving him what they're giving him today to sing in Cameroon, it's normal, because all Cameroonians, when they're going out of the state, out of the country, they have similarly gain over there or on other African countries now today. If I don't want to tell everybody what's going on. Everybody know what's going on. I just want people to know that they have to come to go close to those artists like Daphne and Malox and all those guys that are moving around the other African countries, and ask them what is happening when they're playing in other countries. That's my point. That's my personal point. I believe we don't have to say that we need all those superstars in Cameroon, because that's music. Music is just exchanging in between us, exchanging in between countries. So we cannot just live with our own music. We got to get something else coming in to make us feel different.
Young people in the city of Douala have been appreciated for their initiatives in building responsible citizenship. This was during an award of medals by the Duke of Edinburgh project in Cameroon. Mange Venasius completes that story with the following report.
Equipping young people for life is the central theme that preoccupied the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award Cameroon, celebrating the Gold Award recipients in Douala, Littoral Region, Thursday, the 11th of February 2021. Drawing young people from the region, they were tasked on fields like skills acquisition, community service and volunteerism, physical well-being, and the spirit of adventure and discovery. Activities that has earned them the awards. Awards that will certainly be a stepping stone for them.
The aspects of being international, first of all, makes it to open doors naturally. Then as a Cameroonian, I think that to have participated in many humanitarian and social activities, if I go in a place like a ministry, I think they will receive me more better than a person that have not participated in these activities.
Reason why the city mayor, in line with the head of state, encouraged them for the initiative.
We want to say to these young people that we appreciate what they are doing for the community. It is very important to have young people who take initiative to do something without waiting for money or for any kind of salary. It is important to have these young people with us. And the Douala city is ready also to help them in the future.
It should be indicated that the project is not a competition, but a personal challenge young people take upon themselves to succeed in life.
The Duke of Edinburgh's Awards International Program is a self-development program, personal development program, which young people aged 14 to 24 years undergo in order to become more competent, in order to become skillful, in order to become resilient in the society, so as to have a successful life. With all the challenges that we have around, the program, which has been existing in Cameroon for years now, since 1988, was revived so that the young people aged between these 14 and 24 years can benefit from whatsoever is done.
The Edinburgh Award is an international concept that has been existing in Cameroon for long, reason why the medals are recognized internationally.
And out of Cameroon, Congo-Brazzaville's President Denis Sassou Nguesso is seeking a fourth term in office in this year's presidential elections in the country. The National Electoral Commission of the country received 8 presidential candidacies, which the Constitutional Court has to validate for the March 21 election. President Sassou Nguesso will therefore face 7 challengers, including former Finance Minister Mathias Zone and Guy Brice Parfait Kolela, son of the former Prime Minister. The 77-year-old president is seeking a fourth term in office after being in power since 1979, excluding a 5-year period after losing elections in 1992. The main opposition group, which is the Pan-African Union for Social Democracy, has said it would boycott the polls. That brings us to the end of today's edition of the newscast on DBS Television. I am Cynthia Ngwemo, thanking you for being with us and hoping to see you again tomorrow. Good night.